Okay, you ready? There we go. Well, welcome to Sports Econ 101, the show where we discuss sports topics from a business perspective. I'm your host, Edward Brown. I'm proud to have as my co-host, Vern Glenn.
Back for another one of these, baby.
Yeah.
And we got a live audience this time.
That's true. My beautiful wife is here.
That's right. Hello.
How you doing? Hey.
So now, who are you? Vern Glenn, a CBS affiliate, KPIX TV in San Francisco. Bruce McGowan is off today, but we have a really special show. Why? Because we have Pat Gallagher in our studio. He's going to be our guest today. Executive Vice President of Marketing, Partnerships, and Communications for the San Francisco Bay Area Super Bowl 50.
And we're complete. We're now complete. We've had Andy Dolish. Now we have the other marketing piece of royalty in our studio.
We're privileged to have you on.
While we're still alive.
While we're still alive. Okay. So what we're going to do also at each commercial break, we're going to ask a sports trivia question again, and this time the theme is baseball all-star memories. Yeah, that'll be kind of fun. And this,
Right in his wheelhouse.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
maybe.
Okay, we'll see
Right.
how you do. I think one of the questions is kind of hard, but we'll have some fun with it. And the first three emails with the correct answer are going to win a free 3-day, 2-night stay at the Lighthouse Resort. Then the vacations are free. Their only request is a $75 cleaning fee to cover housekeeping expenses. And you can listen to Sports Econ 101 on iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, Sports Byline USA, and CRN. This segment of Sports Econ 101 is sponsored by Pacific Private Money, providing mortgage investments that are currently yielding 8% secured by real estate. It doesn't get any more conservative than that. Check them out at pacificprivatemoney.com. If you have any questions, email Edward at sportsecon101.
You see that, Pat? He got that all out without taking a breath.
I don't
Unbelievable. No notes.
Yeah.
No notes either. Unbelievable.
Yeah, well, only the ones that are in front of me. Yeah, that's okay. All right, don't touch that dial. You're listening to Sports Econ.
Don't touch it! Don't do it!
Seriously, don't touch it. When we come back, Pat Gallagher, we're going to ask him some very interesting questions here about Super Bowl 50 and other things that the audience is going to be just amazed at hearing. All right? Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Okay, so that's our first little segment here. Let me save this
Very
file. See, usually
You
what
keep
happens, I
it
just
going,
do
Edward.
2, 3,
It's free
4,
over there.
and then I do it at the
It's so
at the
cool
end.
to see how all this is done. Isn't it?
That's right next door to us.
Yeah.
We're 855.
We'll try to keep the noise down.
All right.
Yeah, we did our deal with Bruno because CBS is our broadcast partner.
Right. Right.
So
We're in bed with him.
we were looking for office space, and so we've got about 10,000 feet down there, and we're kind of putting our staff together. So
We often wonder what Bruno is. It's kind of like Oz, the man behind the curtain. Yeah, you only see him emerge every now and then, but he's back there cutting deals.
you got a deal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Is he your executive?
he is our fearless leader. He is our general manager.
All right. So one of the things that, in fact, when we come back, let's get it right into Super Bowl 50, and I like the fact about the no Roman numeral thing we were talking about.
Yeah.
We'll get into that.
Okay. Sure.
Let's start off with that. All right. And away we go. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Vern Glenn. And we have a special guest, Pat Gallagher. Pat, tell us all about Super Bowl 50.
It'll be here before we know it.
It's coming. It's amazing. The only Super Bowl that's ever been held in the Bay Area was 1985, sort of back in the dark ages.
I remember that against Miami Dolphins, and
Yeah.
the field was all wet, and Don Shula still hates
And
that.
the seats were made out of wood at Stanford Stadium.
That's right.
Yeah. So that's the last time, and there've been a couple of sort of ill-fated bids. So we put together a group about almost 2 years ago, and said with the new stadium coming in down in Santa Clara, which was then named Levi Stadium, in San Francisco, maybe we should take a bid on on a Super Bowl.
Oh, I mean, a brand new stadium. That's going to be awesome.
Yeah, but it's more than just the game at the stadium. There's there's 9 days worth of events. There's all kinds of other activity that happens. So we asked to put together a bid. We got a 150-page request for a proposal that we had to respond to, and put a presentation together, and went in May of 2013 in front of all the NFL owners in Boston to make a presentation about why Super Bowl 50 or 51 should be held in the Bay Area.
Is that like an intimidating thing? I mean, it's like a big room, all 32 people in there.
Well,
You walk in there and you're like, okay, next we'll hear from the Gallagher group.
I'm not sure what it's like when they elect a pope, but it's, it's probably
The white
similar.
smoke.
Like
Probably
the white
similar.
smoke coming out of
Yeah,
the
these guys probably have more money than those guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a gigantic room with all the NFL owners sitting in big high back leather chairs
with
and
poker faces, I guess.
there's no noise, no applause, nothing. And so we walk in, and so we were bidding against Miami, Florida for Super Bowl 50, and the way it works is they get 15 minutes, we got 15 minutes, and then after that, whoever the loser was in that contest bid against Houston, Texas for Super Bowl 51. So we made our pitches. We went back to our green room. They voted, and you could see it on the NFL Network. And the commissioner got up and opened this piece of paper and said, "And I'd like to award Super Bowl 50 to San Francisco." And we went. And
Wow.
we went nuts. The people from Miami went.
Yeah, but you know what? How
What's the
many times has it
turnaround
been-
time, though? I mean, from the time you do your pitch to the time you find out.
Literally, it was about 10 minutes.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
They did a vote, and you could watch on the network because they're passing the ballots down, in front now, all the way down to the front, and somebody's gathering them and going up to the commissioner and handing him this. And what we're told is that a lot of times they have several votes on this. Well, we'd like to think that our presentation was so compelling that there was just one vote.
Right.
It took 10 minutes, and I guarantee you spent more than twice that getting ready.
We spent a ton of time getting
Well,
ready.
the thing is, okay, Miami and New Orleans and Detroit, they always have the Super Bowl. Again, except for the time that it was held at Stanford. And so, this, I guess you kind of had to fight about the potential weather issue. But, Santa Clara, even in January, is not too bad.
Well, now they've kind of broken the tradition. I mean, you're right. New Orleans and Miami have had a bunch of Super Bowls.
Mhm.
The first one was held in L.A. at the Coliseum in L.A. And since then, they've held them in a couple of cold weather cities. There just was one in New York, New Jersey.
Yeah.
Minneapolis, has hosted one. Indianapolis, Dallas. And so with the stadium coming online, we thought the time was right. And Mayor Lee asked a number of us to get involved and put a bid together. So we took a shot at it. And lo and behold, we were awarded Super Bowl 50.
Well, here's the interesting thing, too, is that Super Bowl 50 is going to be in 2016.
Right.
And I guess it's kind of hard to know what team is going to be good, because theoretically you don't want a home team advantage, right?
Right, and you never really know. And that's the interesting thing. People say, God, wouldn't it be great if the 49ers were in that? And I don't disagree with that.
My employers would love it.
But it's never happened. There's never been a home team that's actually played in a Super Bowl. Now, they've been close.
Yes,
Now, the
Stanford,
49ers played down at Stanford, and the Raiders, when they were in L.A., played in the Rose Bowl.
Yeah, that's
Their home field was the Coliseum, but it's actually never happened.
wow. That's so close, though.
Yeah, could
Okay, so now I want to get into. A lot of people don't know this. I didn't know this until you came on. Super Bowl 50. Now, the Roman numeral for 50 is L. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And I only imagine people not wanting to wear an L on their hat.
Well, it's interesting. Usually they're these gigantic, very heroic, number. And unless you went to Catholic school or studied Latin, and a lot of us don't know any of all this, any of those hieroglyphics. But the Super Bowl 50, the 50 is an L. And so we looked at it and said, okay, but it's also the 50th. I'm a marketing guy, and so we decided we thought 50 was stronger. And so we went to the NFL, discussed it with them, got their approval, and so came out with Super Bowl 50. There is also a practical piece of this, is that now with the new digital way that we all communicate, tweeting and all that, if you think about Super Bowl L, it would wind up being Super Bowl with 2 L's, right?
You lost me on
Exactly.
that.
Well, because
It's
if you're
spelling.
tweeting Super Bowl, I mean, if you've got a hashtag or whatever, and Super Bowl, look, it's
Oh,
not. It's
Super
not,
Bowl, because it ends with an L.
That's right.
Oh, I got it.
Oh,
Yeah, but when
okay.
it was Super Bowl 30, I thought it was some kind of a drunk wino, XXX on a, on a jug or something. It just, it
you know
just
what?
doesn't look good.
It's great because some people won't remember what happened at Super Bowl 33 or Super Bowl 41,
Yeah.
but I think people will remember Super Bowl 50.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
That's a milestone. And so tell us, who was the one person in the world who disagreed with this?
Well, you figure universally accepted, liked, whatever, except we got one letter, and the commissioner got a letter, and it was from the president and CEO of the Roman Numeral Society of America.
Well, is he about, 900 years old
I have
now?
no idea, but they were outraged
Yeah.
that this would happen. They figured, the Super Bowl and the NFL was like the one bastion preserving the Roman numerals for all of us.
Well,
And-
is it for 51? Is it going to be
No,
L1?
No, they've decided they're going to go back to the Roman numerals after
Okay,
that.
so
And that's the way they,
L1.
yeah,
Then, yeah.
yeah, L1 or lie, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Well, the president of the Roman numeral club. I mean, that's okay for 1 year. He can live without it, can he? Yeah.
You know what? That's not our problem.
Yeah.
All right, I want to switch gears for just a minute here. A lot of people don't know that you were with the San Francisco Giants for a long time.
Right.
Long time,
And-
but over 33 years, right?
33
I said long
Yeah.
time.
Long time.
Okay. Now, Bruce told me, he said, make sure that you ask him about a couple of things. One, you know what I'm going to ask you. The crab, the crazy crab.
Well, I mean,
What was that, 1984, 5?
1984.
84,
You know,
okay.
the quad candlestick, which was the other thing that I guess I'm known for, was it's sort of the badge that we created, that we rewarded fans for doing what the ultimate act of being a Giants fan was,
Yeah.
which was staying until the end of an extra inning night game. That was
Absolutely.
1983. 1985 or 84. These were a series, and Vern knows this, series of pretty mediocre Giants teams.
Yeah,
But
they
you
weren't
don't know that when you start the season.
I don't even think they got 70 wins that year. It was,
Yeah,
it was
it was pretty
like
bad.
66, 66,
It was-
7 wins.
It was pretty. We
Yeah.
lost 96 games
Yeah,
in
I was gonna say,
1984.
Yeah.
And our manager Jimmy Davenport, when he was appointed at the end of the season, says,
Former third baseman.
I am not going to be part of a Giants team that loses 96 games. And he was right. His team lost 100 games.
Oh,
The
man.
the 1985 Giants lost 100
Yeah, it
games.
was
Anyway, 1984, we along this idea is that Candlestick known for the weather and all the tough parts of it. So it's kind of hard to have a message where we say, hey, bring your family out and have a great time, whatever. When the media and the players and the politicians and even the owners are saying that the place was, subpar. I'm being kind here. And
Wait, with attendance or
just a place to go and watch a game. I mean, it was like the Bermuda Triangle of Major League Baseball parks.
Okay,
Yeah, tough sell.
Stay with us. I want you to finish the story when we come back from commercial break, okay? Because I think this crazy crab thing is
It's called the Tease America.
Yeah, it's the anti-mascot. Okay, we're gonna cut to our first commercial break, and the theme is baseball all-star memories. Vern, this is before our time. All right, why was the 1957 All-Star Game? What was the controversy surrounding? What was the controversy surrounding the 1957 All-Star Game? There was a specific controversy about the 1957 All-Star Game. All right, the first 3 emails with the correct answer are going to win a free 3-day, 2-night stay at the Lighthouse Resort. Email edward@sportsecon101.com. The answer to this question: what was the 1957 All-Star Game controversy? There's a specific controversy that has only to do with 1957. This one is a little tougher.
Okay.
And if Bruce was here, he'd know it, right? He knows everything about baseball.
Probably.
All right, don't touch that dial. Sports Econ 101 will be right back with Pat Gallagher. All right,
Man, that's
a tough one.
out of the fact that they had 2 All-Star games a
It's
year.
enough.
in those time.
It's enough of a controversy to make it separate from everything else.
Also, at the end of the 1957 season is when the Giants and the Dodgers moved west to
Oh,
California,
true.
so
That's
it could have something to do with that.
Yeah, true. That's right.
My whole thing is I try to stump them. I try to give these guys enough to where they go,
Oh
yeah.
Sometimes
So
smoke
this
comes
one
out of
to
our
me,
ears.
yeah.
Don't take it so hard. Mm.
Do you do research on all those questions, or how do you get?
I make them up. No, I
I figured the answer was gonna be Adley Hammaker. I mean,
Oh, God,
it's always Alan Hammaker. That's right. He was during that time when
7 RBIs.
against him.
Where is he now?
He's living in Tennessee and he's
Is he?
doing great. He comes out occasionally to visit, come out to the ballpark. I mean, that's one of the great things about the Giants is they always.
They do take care of their own, don't they?
Well, if you wear the uniform, it means something.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Maybe he's playing with Steve Bartman.
I don't think so.
What do you think about this push to pass the hat around to raise $67,000 to get a Barry Bonds statue?
Well, I mean, I think it's somebody who would just like to see it happen. And,
Yeah.
look, I'm not with the Giants anymore, so I
Right.
can say this.
Right.
And eventually there is going to be a statue.
Yeah.
And I think the Giants are prepared and have the ability to pay for something like
Well,
that.
they'll maybe
So-
be a bodybuilder looking, guy.
I think could they just be waiting for the obstruction of justice charge to be thrown?
Maybe,
That's what I think. I mean, let enough time go by.
Yeah.
He definitely was a force to be reckoned with. Of course, Will Clark had that, not quite as big as Barry. But. All right, ready? There you go. Well, welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Again, I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Vern Glenn.
Swinging and missing.
This is a tough one. Okay, here was the trivia question. Baseball All-Star memories. What was the controversy surrounding the 1957 All-Star game? Anybody?
I'm gonna guess just without even maybe one of the two All-Star games was played in maybe either Ebbets Field or the Polo Grounds, and they weren't.
Yeah, this one was hard. Ballot stuffing by Cincinnati fans.
Really?
Aided by pre-printed ballots, Cincinnati fans stuffed the ballot box, and 7 of the 8 position players were from the Reds.
Wow, starting position? Wow.
It's like the Chicago election, right? I mean, it's
Wow.
Exactly.
fantastic.
Sure this wasn't 1919?
Yeah,
No,
well.
maybe it's not. Okay, so we have Pat Gallagher here, who is going to explain to us about the anti-mascot Crazy Crab.
Well, those are the days. You had to come up with something where, you just can't open the gates and go, hey, we got a ball game, and then people are going to. It's got to be more than just the game, especially with a struggling ball club.
I'm a marketing guy. My job, if you wanted to boil my job down simply, was to get asses into seats.
Right.
I mean, that just that simple thing. So trying to create some excitement, and so the whole that was also the era, mid '80s, when baseball had all those fuzzy mascots. They had the San Diego Chicken, maybe one of the most famous.
Yeah.
Then the Philly Fanatic came out, and then after that there was this whole raft of sort of fuzzy Muppet-like mascots that came out.
Even the Mets.
Well, the Mets had one. Yuppie was the mascot in Montreal. They had a number of. Anyway, so we kind of thinking the Giants fans are different in some way. I don't know if they really are different, but we wanted to make a claim that they were different. We did a survey, and we asked the people, if we had a mascot, would you boo it? And 63% of the people that we surveyed said, yeah, we'd boo the mascot. So this was supposed to be just an advertising campaign. So we came up with this goofy crab outfit and came up with a crazy crab. And so the television commercial went where his agent was telling him it's different here in San Francisco. They love it. They love it in Philly. They love it in San Diego. They'll love it here. And so this music comes in, the mascot, the crab goes out on the field and does all these great dances, the moonwalk, whatever, and people boo him off the field. And so at the end, he sort of gives them the Rodney Dangerfield and walks out the field. And so the whole point was Giants fans are different. And they wouldn't put up with something like this. So after about a week into the season, I had this mascot outfit sitting in my office. And so we said, well, why don't we just see? And so we actually put it out on the field. And sure enough, as we conditioned people to do, they booed it off the field. And so, unfortunately, it was a very forgettable season. Frank Robinson was our manager, and so he didn't care for the mascot all that much. And so, and Bob Lurie, who was our owner, who allowed us to do this, all kinds of cruel things. Somebody said they never saw Bob Lurie and the mascot at the same place at the same time. Some really bad stuff. And so, towards the end of the season, Vern knows this, when you have a bad baseball season, anything that's associated with that sort of is fair game. And so at the end of the season, things were going bad. So we decided, the poor kid was putting on the mascot costume, putting on these orange leggings and getting ready to slip into his costume. He was an actor making scale out on the field. And he said, God, you don't think anybody's got a gun out there, do you? Oh, jeez. So we decided to pull the plug on it, and so it was a one-year phenomenon. And it's interesting, in 1984, one-year phenomenon. In 1985, we decided to bring the crab back on a weekend series with the Padres to try to change our luck. I think we lost 12 out of our first 15 games, something like that. And so we came back, and the crab came back for a weekend series, and we got swept by the Padres. So we wound up giving away, I think we did this in the press box, we gave away those walk-away crab cocktails that they have at Fisherman's Wharf. Oh. So everybody's kind of going, great. And I said, yeah, this is the first time in history where we actually got to eat the mascot.
Yeah, and all these fuzzy things, and you have a crab. That's not quite fuzzy. Well, because Giants, why couldn't you get some guy who was like 7'3"?
We had people who had all these great ideas. One of the great things about being a promotion or marketing guy is that everybody's an amateur promotion director. So there was Giants. There was a 70-year-old woman who had this costume, and she was the giant. Giant. We had somebody who had Scampy the giant shrimp. That was somebody who wanted to do a takeoff on the crab. Anyway, so it was it was a gag that lasted for a while.
Just a
one
year.
year and a weekend
Wow.
series.
For some reason I thought it lasted. Well, I guess it just see that you
Well,
did a good job, and it kept.
What's the staying power even today?
Exactly.
So what's really funny about it is that it hasn't aired yet, but ESPN does those 30 things.
Mm-hmm.
They just did something on the 30th anniversary of the Crab. It's going to
Wow.
air sometime this season.
Oh, that's funny. I mean, the San Diego Chicken was great.
It is great,
He was
wonderful.
great.
He was the best one.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because what does chicken have to do with a Padre? I mean, some of these ones you can't really come up with a real mascot for the team.
In the NBA, they just did something with the gorilla. On the
gorilla?
NBA.
Yeah, we're in the entertainment business. We're just trying to and that year we were trying to keep people's minds off how bad the team was.
Well, apparently even the players were booing him just mercilessly.
Well, they did. They'd throw stuff at him. Mike Krukow and Dwayne Kuiper, you talked to them about him, and they would spit tobacco in the Crab's head, helmet on his head. One of the Padres actually body slammed him in front of the dugout, and he was on disability for about 2 weeks. I mean, it was, it got to the point where it was a great joke, but by the end, it was one of those acts. I mean, in Broadway they closed those kinds of shows.
Yeah.
We just kept it going for the whole season and shut it down at the end.
And speaking of keeping it going, something unbelievable happened after the Crab. The team started winning. Roger Craig showed up and boom!
Hum baby.
Yeah.
The Hum baby.
Wait, didn't I see one time the Crab came out and he was missing a claw?
Oh yeah,
well,
that
crap out one time.
Well, he was fair game, and a lot of people attacked the Crab because it was like you could focus your energy on on something other than the team, and so it was one of those things. I mean, it would never happen today, never. I mean, baseball's too corporate.
But you know what? Those buttons though, that
the
you
quad candlestick,
those are great. I know people who they're proud to wear the
Oh, sure.
hat, and they've got a whole bunch of those. Because remember, what the audience, the national audience, may not know, Candlestick Park was a terror to play in, and to just be a fan, nighttime with the wind. I mean, you're talking about, what was it, the old Mark Twain, the coldest day I ever spent was the summer in San Francisco.
That's right. And so for the quad candlestick, we were coming up with something. I mean, our theme that year, after all these themes, was when you're coming up with a way to describe the team, you want to have a theme that you can sort of deliver on. And ours was hang in there, which all that promise was that we were going to show up and play, and it was sort of a plea to the fans to hang in there. So decided that coming up with an award that would award the highest act of Giants fandom, which was staying until the end of an extra inning night game. The Quad Candlestick was born, and the only way you couldn't buy it, you couldn't send. You actually had to earn it by staying until the end of an extra inning night game, and so. The Giants fan, I mean, everybody sort of appreciated it, and it was one of those things that people wear, and you still see them. And, it's ironic that the Giants went from maybe the worst ballpark to maybe the best ballpark, so there's no need for the quad candlestick anymore.
Oh, that's true. And then now they have Lucille. Which is, I get Seal, San Francisco. I mean, it's kind of a cute, fuzzy costume, and I guess everybody gets into it.
I know the guy who's in the costume. I mean, he's really working. I mean, end to end.
He's an athlete.
He's an athlete. He's an athlete.
Yeah, he's going to have some fan in there, too, because that's got to be really hot.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, he loses, 5-8 pounds every time he does that. So, but look, the mascot, Lucille, is a totally different era. It's a diversion.
Yeah.
But it's part of a whole entertainment package that has become a part of sports, whether you like it or not.
Well, I'm going to ask this because this is up my wife's expertise about cost-benefit analysis. Do you ever do, like, when you're coming up with an idea, like, I mean, I can't, a crab costume doesn't cost too much, but whenever you're coming up with these marketing ideas, do you wing it, or do you actually do, like, a real spreadsheet to figure out, okay, it's going to cost this much, it's going to benefit us this much?
Look, if you think I went to business school, do you think I'd be doing this for a living? No, there's no cost-benefit analysis. It's one of those things when you throw it out there, and if people like it and get a kick out of it, you continue to do it. If they boo it, or the worst part is if they ignore it, then you stop doing it.
Yeah. Well, because we've talked about this on the show before with games. It's like an airplane ticket. See, once the game is over, you can't sell that seat anymore. So the whole idea is you got to get people in the seats.
Right.
I don't know if the Crab actually did that, but at least you got people.
Well, at least we want to make people feel better about it, and we don't check IDs about why people come to the games. I mean, we don't like if they want to come for whatever reason, we don't
Yeah, really, at the gate, you have a little thing you have to fill out. Why are you at this game?
No.
The Giants aren't doing very well.
No, if you're breathing, you can enter.
If you're breathing. Okay, I like that, if you're breathing.
Yeah.
Okay, we are going to cut to our second commercial break here. And again, the theme is Baseball All-Star Memories. All right, this one's a little bit easier. This catcher hit a home run in his first at-bat in the major leagues in 1986. He also hit a home run in his first at-bat in the 1988 All-Star Game. Now, you don't know it yet, right? Okay.
No?
One thing I remember also is there was a little bit of controversy because either nobody thought he was good enough to be in the All-Star Game, or he only got thrown in because somebody got hurt. Still? No,
Hang
nothing
on.
yet?
Hang on.
Okay.
Can I guess? It won't spoil anything.
Well, don't guess yet.
Well,
because
we have to go to break
to
first. We have
Okay,
we have 2 minutes to think about it.
Should I give one more? Should I give one more hint?
Yeah.
Okay. I already said he was a catcher.
Right,
Sorry,
yeah.
that was the hint.
No, he was a catcher.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Here's one more hint. American League.
American League.
Okay, so now you just knocked off 50% of the potential.
You got mine. I had a National League catcher.
I had a National League catcher in mine too.
Yeah. Now this is guy. I'm trying to remember if he ever played in the National
Sort his
League.
godson.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So that's our question: is this catcher hit a home run in his first at bat in the major leagues in 1986? He also hit a home run in his first at bat in the 1988 All-Star Game. Who is he, or who was he? He's still alive, but who was he back then? And no looking on the internet, Vern. No, I know. You know, I'm just teasing you.
Looking at my hands.
They're clean. Okay, don't touch that dial.
Smartphone free.
Sports Econ 101 will be right back. I had to stretch it out a little
American
bit.
League catcher.
Good question.
Like,
Well, you said he's still alive, too.
He's still,
so that
I'm pretty sure he's
paced out my one.
First
Yeah.
Yes. I was going to guess Thurman.
No. Okay.
American League catcher.
Dogs
The
are
wheels
really-
are turning.
I know, I can see the smoke coming out.
One more hint I'll give you is I'll give you the team.
Oh, okay.
Then that should do it for you.
I think Vern's gonna remember.
When I give
It's
the
like
team.
on the
then
tip
you
of your tongue, right?
Well known.
You know what I was gonna say, Edward, is that he
Like if
created-
somebody woke you up at
you
1:30 in
created
the
that
morning
crowd,
and gave you the name, would
the
you
way they
get?
see
Oh, yeah.
that is
Immediately,
a sticking
yeah.
point. You created something that will never go out of people's minds, and that's what the phenomena is. You know, isn't it crazy?
I've ruined my personal reputation.
Your wife still loves you. That's okay.
Let me ask you what other. That'll be a good one. What other? Hold on. Okay.
We have so much to ask him.
Oh,
about
yeah.
football. My
The Great
gosh,
Walenda,
Edward.
did you do that on there?
No.
You know the circus, Great Walenda from the Flying
The Flying
Walenda?
Walenda,
you know,
yeah.
the
Had them
Flying
walk
Walendas?
across the top of
Yeah,
the
they
hill,
did a
stick
wire
on
across. Yeah,
Okay. I was going to ask you what other promotional.
crazy promotional nights.
How about Kite Day?
Ooh,
There was no wind. Couldn't get the kites up in the air.
The one time in Candlestick. Oh, that's funny. Okay.
Wow.
You guys ready? All right, here we go. We're having so much fun. I'm having so much fun. You having fun?
I'm in.
Okay, good. You know what? All our guests always call on.
This is good.
Because I can always tell
Hey, I
people,
got
I'm
to-
not Jerry Springer.
It's
you know?
great. I get to do this for a living, and now I get to talk about it. It's cool.
Okay, here we go. He's still thinking about the catcher.
oh my gosh.
Or maybe he was a shortstop.
Oh,
No!
Oh, don't even. Oh, see, that's
I'm teasing. Of course he's
terrible.
No, I wouldn't do that to you. All right, here we go. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Too bad the audience wasn't with us during the break. We're having a lot of fun here laughing. Okay, I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Vern Glenn. He's still thinking. Okay, here was our commercial break trivia question. Again, the theme is Baseball All-Star Memories. This catcher hit a home run in his first major league bat in 1986. And he also hit a home run in his first at bat in the 1988 All-Star Game. Who was he? Okay, we've stumped everybody. So we're going to get a hint.
All right.
The team he played for the Oakland A's. Who was that? Come on. He was with the Oakland A's when he went to the All-Star Game. Come on.
What year?
No, it
What
wasn't
year?
Ray Fosse. That was-
No,
Come
Fosse
on,
was
come
long
on.
gone.
I'll give you the initials now. It is easy. TS.
Terry Steinbach?
Yes, Terry Steinbach.
Steiny!
Steiny, yeah. In fact, I remember.
God, I hope he's not listening.
Now on the Minnesota, he's on the Twins coaching staff, is he not? Yeah.
But I remember that All-Star game because
I've been to the shower with Terry Steinbach. I have.
That's too much.
Remember, this is a family show there, right? But I remember the commentators.
Well, I'm not checking out his junk. I'm just saying I've been in the shower with Terry Steinbach after a workout.
The first time my wife joins us here, and he's going to talk
Now
about
we're
his
talking
junk. Come on, man. But anyway, I remember the commentators saying, "Yeah, gosh, what's Terry doing here?" And I think, in fact, if I'm not mistaken, I think he was MVP of that All-Star game too.
Wow.
So it was a
Fantastic.
Yeah, it was very good. Okay.
From New Ulm, Minnesota.
Very good.
Hockey player.
Oh, so now he
Still has records. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, well, we are in the studio with Pat Gallagher, who's like, can I call you the marketing guru?
Sure.
Okay, good.
Whatever.
All right. Give us a few other ideas that you had.
Well, we were talking about, what does it take to get people to come to Candlestick Park, or just to get some attention? So, we did a variety of things. We had of all the places in the world, where do you think would be the best place to get kites and have a kite day? So
in a windy place.
Windy place. So we went to Pier 39, and we got we had a Delta Wing kite, we had the box kites, we had the Dragon kites, and we did an exhibition before the game. And it was that, as it turns out, it was that one day of the year where there was no wind. And like a kid, you ever run across a field and the kite's kind of diving into the ground. And so at least it was entertaining. People laughed like hell about it. But it was a kite day where we couldn't get any kites in the air.
Couldn't get him up.
But when the again, Vern. All right. Except
brought to you by Cialis.
But of course, when who was the pitcher got blown off the mound?
Stu Miller.
There you go. See, then it gets windy.
1962 All-Star game. And that's how one of the ways Candlestick got its reputation. So one other thing, just to defy the weather, is that if you really are a student of circus history, you remember the famous Flying Melinda family, who were high wire artists, and there was a whole family of them. And so we actually brought Carl Melinda, who was the patriarch of the Flying Melindas, in 1977 to walk across the top of Candlestick.
And they still
on a wire.
They didn't have a good team then either.
No, so it was a game. It was in between games of a Giants and Mets doubleheader. The only thing worse than one game with the Giants and Mets was a doubleheader with the Giants and Mets. So we figured, hey, we'll just throw those two against you. And by the way, this old man's going to walk across a wire in between games.
Hopefully it wasn't windy then.
And high wind.
Actually,
wow.
Well, so I got up in the morning and we're ready to do this, and strung the wire, and it was raining in the morning, and I was afraid. I picked him up at the airport, and this old man could barely walk. And I'm going, God, he's going to bounce off the AstroTurf from 150 feet. So,
but at least it'd be entertaining.
So I said, hey, I don't care. No, the show must go on.
Yeah, there you go.
Wow.
So it didn't rain enough, and so we had the ground crew get ready, and the umpires came out and did a ground ruling in case the ball hit the wire during the first game. First game's over. 20 minutes in between games, and we're ready, and Melinda gets up and he starts to walk across the wire. He walks all the way down to the middle of the wire and then stops, and we have a little microphone on him. He's talking to the crowd, and he's telling people how wonderful it is up here on the wire.
Look at the view.
And nobody left their seats. Everybody's like, we hear a pin drop. And then he stands on his head on the wire in the middle. And then in his back pocket, he had a baseball, and he threw out the first ball for the second game to catcher Mark Hill to catch the ball. Anyway, he chugs up the wire, and on the other side, I'm waiting for him with a shaker of martinis, which was his
drink of choice.
There was one for him, and there was one for me. So, so I poured it, and he waved, and was we made headlines around the country and around the world that day. So I was feeling pretty good. And then our general manager, the postscript of this whole thing is our general manager, Speck Richardson, who was a sort of a crusty old general manager. I went back to his office, and he screamed at me for about 15 minutes. I was stunned.
What about the liability of it all, or whatever?
No, we sold I think 20,000 tickets for a Giants-Mets doubleheader, which is pretty remarkable. No, he screamed at me because he said it was too exciting. He said nobody got out of their seats to go to the concession stand. He said it probably cost us $25,000 in concession money. So from then on, the rule was do something slightly more entertaining than watching the ground crew, but not so entertaining that would keep you from getting up and going and spending money.
But that's ridiculous, because if people are going to get a hot dog, they'll go in between, the 6th and 7th inning or something.
Hey, look, what did I know? I was a 27-year-old director of marketing. What did I know? So anyway,
half the people want to see if he's going to make it. The other half want to see whether he's going to fall.
Yeah.
You're right about that.
Yeah,
You're
you know what? Yeah, I
Do
thought
you have to buy insurance? Did you have to buy
Oh,
insurance just in case?
How do you insure that?
Well, I don't
No,
know.
nobody cares insurance, but I would have thought that he was going to yell at you for not giving him the drinks beforehand and make it a little bit more exciting.
No. Yeah, but you know what? It's just one of those tales of things. There's lots of other things that we tried to do. I mean, we did actually, those things that you put around a beer can called a beer cozy that keeps your beer keeps your beer from. We had one that was called a beer warmer that would keep your beer from freezing over. You know, that you would have in the stands. I mean, we had all kinds of gags that we did. We had a kazoo day where we had people. We wanted a kazoo. Tom Lasorda, for the Dodgers, and the kazoos, showed up at like 15 minutes before the game. I mean, we had all kinds of goofy things, but the whole point was we were all just trying to have fun and sell tickets to Giants games.
I have a question. Okay, in all your years with the Giants, all right, let's a little situational, a little fair, just hypothetical.
Okay.
House is on fire. What's the one piece of Giants memorabilia that you grab before you run out of the house?
Wow.
What's the one thing?
God. Wow. There's a bunch of pictures, but truth be told, because they're going to tear Candlestick down next year, we tried to figure out what we were going to take from the ballpark to move to the new ballpark. We couldn't think of anything. There was nothing.
What are they going to do with the seats?
We wanted to leave one. Well, now they're selling the seats in there.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there looking at the grate. They're trying to sell the seats. That was, my line was plenty of good seats available.
Yeah. That's cute.
So. Anyway, you know what? I loved my whole time there. It was great. I got a chance to go do it. I think it's good that the Giants have a great place to play, and whoever could have imagined they've sold out almost 300 games, whereas our tickets we were selling for $5 or $6, and we did concerts after the game. We did, I said one time if we'd reunited the Beatles, after a game, people said, yeah, I got their albums. I don't know. I don't need to come. I need to buy a ticket. There was nothing you could do. It was like, but it was great. Years later, Bob Lurie, who was the owner of the team, and we're still friends, I always felt like I was one or two ideas away from getting fired. And he told me later on, he said, there's no way I would have fired you. I couldn't get anyone else to do that job. Anyway.
Now, AT&T Park, they're getting like 42,000 a game. How many games will they take you to get that? Two games to get 40? One?
Well, all I know is that, before computerized tickets, we used to print like 4 million tickets a year and put them in a vault inside the ticket office. And it would be like, you'd go and pick them off and you'd sell them that way. So I think the most, it got down to 626,000, which for the season, which is before I got there. My first season, we had 725,000. But then a magic thing happened. In 1978, the Giants were actually pretty good for a good part of the season, and our attendance went to like 1,700,000, went up over 1 million people in one season. So the attendance at Giants games was sort of like an EKG. If the team played well, you do well, and if it didn't play well, people would say, no, I'm not going to put up with it.
But AT&T, it's downtown, it's a beautiful ballpark, it's easy to get to.
Plus you have that incredible season ticket base of people who, before they know whether the Giants are going to win or lose one game, they already have their tickets, which is the secret in the business.
Right.
Is how do you get people to commit and spend their money before they know whether the team is going to be any good?
How many season tickets are season tickets? You know what I mean? How many do they have?
Well, the Giants, unlike there are very few teams, Giants actually have about 28,000 tickets sold for every game. Now that's 81 games a season. It's different than selling football tickets. I mean, you can't lead a normal life and go to 81 baseball games. You just can't do it. So people have to divide the tickets up into plans and all that stuff, which they do. But the Giants actually have 28,000 season tickets.
That means the walk-up and the online sales are just got to be through the roof.
They are.
To make 41,
but
42
I'm thinking
28,000
though. I'm trying to think of all the good seats because usually season tickets are good seats.
Yeah.
I mean, every seat theoretically is a piece.
That was my line. There aren't any bad seats.
Yeah, but I mean, like the outfield, right? I mean, there aren't season ticket holders in the outfield.
Oh yeah, the bleachers. It's great. If people sitting on the arcade, so you can sit on the home run porch out there. Absolutely. And
what I think is kind of fun is I was teaching over at UOP. They had a little outside thing. Anyway, and what we would do is, like, if I had some time, I'd walk up and just walk to right field where you can still do that now and just watch a few innings, and it's really cool because you don't have to pay for anything. You can only go for just a couple of innings, watch the right fielder, kind of see what's going on.
There's all kinds of things like that. I maintain, this is maybe for your listeners out there, there's a way to sneak into any sporting event in the world, and the way to do it is go buy a 20-pound bag of ice and throw it over your shoulder and go to the press gate and just say, I got to deliver this ice. I mean, who does that? And they,
Now we all know.
We have to do a little caveat.
Hey, don't try that.
Don't try that at home.
At the Super Bowl. Don't try that at the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's right. But in fact, we've got just a couple of quick minutes in the segment.
Pat probably can't remember the last time he paid for a ticket.
I can't.
Oh, I stumped him. See?
I can't. I can't. I don't remember. But it was so cool. I got paid to actually go.
Yeah.
So I haven't paid.
Well,
for it.
So do I.
And you get now too. So look, we're lucky to have these jobs, and I look back
not
on
very
it,
many
was
of
great.
them.
No, there aren't. It was great.
Don't tell your employer though. Gee, I would have done this for free because then they'll kind of start asking you for a little bit extra favors.
Well, none of us are getting stock options in this business either. So it's not like some of the other businesses that that you're out there.
Okay, but now that you've been successful getting Super Bowl 50 where you wanted it,
right?
What is your position between now and then? What are you supposed to do?
Well, we're about 18 months away, and so our position now is that as the host committee, we sort of are the organization. We're a nonprofit organization, so we face the NFL on one side to fulfill the commitments that the bid committee made, and we face all the local communities, San Francisco, Santa Clara, and everything in between on the other side. So right now we're putting all the plans together there's probably 150 events that are around Super Bowl 50, and there's 9 days of Super Bowl week that'll be in that last week of January, first week of February of 2016 in San Francisco. The game will be played in Santa Clara, and there'll be events all the way around. So we actually have to raise money to actually pay for all these expenses. We have to pay for a transportation system to get people 42 miles from San Francisco and other places down to the stadium site. We have to move the teams around. There's practice facilities. There's a big media day that's going to happen during that Super Bowl week. We blocked 22,000 hotel rooms for all day.
When do you have time to sleep?
Well, we're building a staff of people. Now we have, we started with a few of us. Now we've got 13 people, and we're going to eventually get to maybe 30. And our job is to execute all this on behalf of the host committee, present this to the NFL. They show up, do what they do, and then we give money to charity. 25% of the money we're raising, we're giving to charity, and then we go away.
Hold that thought.
I have one really good one, but
okay,
go ahead.
Hold that thought. We have to. The student station will kill me if I don't go to commercial break. Okay, last commercial break. Trivia question here is: in the first All-Star game in 1933, what winning pitcher also had the first RBI? You thought I was going to ask the Carl Hubble question. No. So that's a hint. It's not Carl Hubble. Okay, the first three emails win a free 3-day 2-night stay at the Lighthouse Resort. Email edwardsportsecon101.com. The answer to this question: in the first All-Star game in 1933, what winning pitcher also had the first RBI? All right, don't touch that dial. Sports Econ 101 will be right back with some closing comments and an extra special one from Vernon Klein.
Lefty Gomez? Yeah, Vernon
You
Lefty
got
Gomez.
it.
Yeah.
You got it. Good job.
Spent a lot of time in Marin County. He's got there's a Little League field out in Fairfax.
I think that was his only RBI in his
Oh my
career.
gosh.
Maybe.
Our kids play
Great
that.
book.
Yeah, he's what a great guy. I've been in the long enough. I got a chance to meet him.
I never got a chance to.
So after he finished playing, he was the equipment representative for Wilson Sporting Goods.
Mm-hmm.
So he's the guy that would come and measure all the players for uniforms in spring training, and would do all the uniforms. Very cool guy. Well, I started in '76, and so he did it for about 5 or 6 years, while I was there.
When did he pass on?
80s?
Yeah,
Was it the
yeah,
80s?
It's like 20 years
Yeah,
ago.
because he lived up in he lived up around Fairfax.
Right.
To the very end.
That's why they named that field.
Yeah. But he grew up. It was Martinez.
Martinez.
Yeah, he grew up in Martinez.
Yeah.
And it was just all farm country back then. And
Played for the San Francisco Seals.
Yeah.
Too, in the Coast League.
but he was in his book. He talked about how they'd have to hop trains just to get from city to because they were like little satellite teams that he played for in the Bay Area all over the place. He played Point Reyes a bunch of times.
He
When he was
he did play in Point Reyes.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
He probably played in Albert Field over here,
Upper Park?
Up in the park.
yeah, and he talked about, well, I mean, I guess anybody that's gone to Catholic school can probably relate. What he threw left-handed, but he wrote right. But he wrote with his right hand because the nuns would wrap your knuckles if you started writing left-handed.
Oh my gosh.
To force you to write with your right hand.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, you have a one last thing.
Sure.
And then we'll
Yeah.
then we'll do our thoughts for the day, and we'll say adios. Here we go. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Last time, I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Vern Glenn and our special guest, Pat Gallagher. In the final commercial break, we asked this trivia question. In the first All-Star game in 1933, what winning pitcher also had the first RBI?
He's got a great first name. I know that for sure.
Go ahead, Pat.
Well, he threw with his left hand,
Mm-hmm.
There's a hint.
and he had a Spanish surname.
There you go ahead.
Vernon Lefty Gomez.
Lefty Gomez. That is, and that was back in the days when men were men and pitchers hit.
New York Yankee great. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, nowadays, of course, Frank Thomas just got in for being, for the most
Boy,
part.
what an emotional speech he had, huh?
Fantastic. He's just fantastic.
What a great class to go in. Huh?
Excellent.
Oh,
Okay,
man.
we're gonna thank our. Wait a minute, real quick. You're gonna.
Yeah, on the subject of the Super Bowl and being the host committee and having to be kind of at the bidding of the NFL among other people, I've heard some crazy stuff, but I'm just wondering, are there one or two like maybe unbelievable demands that you have to meet for the NFL or whatever that the folks would find
Vern,
like.
you think I could tell you that?
I
I mean, it's not like we have to have all green M&Ms or something in the green room and get rid of, like the rock stars and stuff. And no, I don't think so. I mean, look, this is the largest sporting event in the country every year, biggest television audience. And so the reason why we did it was because it's a great thing for the Bay Area. I mean, it's not just about sports. I mean, there's a tremendous amount of economic activity, and we're going to raise a ton of money for charity. That's why we're all doing it.
Mhm.
Very good. All right, thanks again for joining us in the studio, Pat. Thoughts for the day. The state sport of Maryland is
State sport of Maryland.
jousting.
Jousting.
Yeah, I know. You got to go back
Wow.
to the 1600s for that, I guess.
Wow.
And the referee used to toss a jump ball after every basket until 1937. I mean, can you imagine how long a game would take if they continued that today? You know, slam dunk by LeBron. Okay, now jump ball again. That'd be ridiculous. Okay, tune in next week to Sports Econ 101. We're going to be discussing sports topics from a business perspective, giving away more free vacations for answering sports trivia questions. Thanks for listening. I'm Matt Martin. I'm your host, Edward Brown. We'll see you next week.
Good night, America.
So long.
That was great.